Hi, good to have you. I'm Vic in VR, and today we'll be diving back into sports mode in Gran Turismo 7, in VR of course. And let me tell you, we're gonna have a meeting with misery today. We've been doing quite okay up till now, but today's a lesson in humility, and we're gonna be shown that we're not quite there yet. We're gonna start off in 10th position in the Lamborghini again on the Grand Valley Highway in reverse. And today is going to be a mess, let me tell you. Honestly, I don't know the track very well, and I haven't figured out at this point that this car doesn't suit the track very much. So let's dive into it. Let's see what's going to happen. And first off, a massive crash right there. Our German friend got so unlucky there. Another crash off to her side. We're now into 7th. There's a car right next to us, but we're going to do our best to hold the line. And now we're up to 7th. Doing okay, we survived everything so far out, but I'm gonna show you some incompetence on my part, but also some maliciousness on someone else's part as we get taken out, completely collected as we dive into that left-hander. A mess. And now we're pretty much lost. We're in 15th position out of 16 cars total. A complete mess. And that 16th position is our, well, I wouldn't call this a friend. Tries to do everything he can to stuff us into the walls. Just guessing this man had a bad day today. So we try to go around, and again we're forced into the wall. A complete shambles. And well, I've been warned about people like that ruining other people's races, but I actually haven't seen much of that up to now. I think most people are trying their best to drive as cleanly as possible. Sometimes mistakes happen and people end up crashing each other out, but this is the first time in Gran Turismo that I've seen someone do it on purpose. And it's a shame, really. It ruins their race, it ruins our race, and no one's having fun. So, a shame, but we had to fight one at some point in time, I suppose. So we're coming up to the last corner in dead last. We're gonna try and salvage this race as best as we can. We're not gonna give up. We never ever give up, even when there's someone trying to send us into oblivion. So we're gonna watch our, once again, mate head into the pits there. He's gonna end this race. Fine for us. We're up to 15th, and now it's just a matter of heads down and do what we can. In the second lap, I'm trying to do everything I can to scrape off some time, but I really have to fight the car. I get oversteer on entry, which always feels horrible. It's alright on exit, I can control it, but when it's on entry, it's never fast, never quick. On the third lap, we actually find some people again. Hi, I've missed you, fellow racers. Good to see you. So, he's gonna get a penalty. Must have missed the corner somewhere. And we finally get some moves done. Into 14. Into lap 4 now, and as I'm doing my best to keep the car under control in this difficult section, I can see a car going really wide, and I just react way too late, and we just smack into the back of him. Almost send him into oblivion. That wasn't great. Not great, and we get a big penalty for that, and honestly it's deserved. Wasn't paying attention to what's happening in front, and we deserve that big old slap. We don't have to serve it right now, he does, so we'll just carry on our race and we'll serve it later. A little later on, and we're back at the hairpin, and again I have to fight the car so hard to keep it stable on entry. You see a German friend going off the track there. It covers pretty well, and now we're side by side. Final turn's a left-hander, so we're going to do our best to keep the car here and see if we can get a move done into that corner. Coming up to the braking zone. We're in a good position. Smash the brakes as we see a car go really wide there. But it does give us a slipstream, which is really nice for us, a big advantage. It's going to help us try to defend the position we're in right now, 12th. Closer, and now there's a German fan is right there, and now we have to go into the tunnel side by side, which is never a good idea. A lesson that we'll learn right about now is we understeer into the wall, almost collect our German friend, but he gets away with it, and we do too, kind of, not a massive crash, So we live on to fight another day. Spanish friend again takes it really, really wide. It helps us get closer to the two again. Into the tunnel. In a good run. We pass our Spanish friend, but we have to serve that penalty about now. We lose more time. We slip away from the competition. Not great, as the Porsche passes us again with another penalty. Now we managed to catch up by lap number 6, going into the hot braking zone again, trying for a move, but we can't really get it done, so we're just gonna stick on his tail, and we'll bide our time as we go into the tunnel. I know the penalty line is coming up a couple of 100 meters down the road, so we're just gonna give him the room, and there he goes. Snaps back, trying to look for him, but we're clear for now. Very good. On lap 7, I'm going to make things way too interesting again by crossing the white lines, almost smashing the wall, and we're going to be slapped again with another time penalty. Half a second. There we go again. Notice our German friend here. He probably had an incident with the Bugatti right here, another German friend, and like a gentleman, he slows down, probably to let him pass. Kind move on his end. On lap 8, we serve our penalty. At this point in time, there's nothing that can really hurt us. Ramirez, we're good for now. Still in 10th position as we carry on with our race. However, that doesn't remain that way for long as he manages to catch up to us. He's in our slipstream looking for a way past, and he's probably going to take the inside. Now I check my mirrors, but I can't really see him anymore, so better safe than sorry. I give him the space on the inside, I let him through, and I try to cut back, set myself up for a good slipstream, but I don't really pull it off. Back into 11th. I try to stay on his tail as best I can, but here I completely mess it up. I understeer, I go a little off the track, and I completely lose control of the car, also collecting our German friend. We get passed again by the Porsche, and this race is just such a mess. A complete mess. We're back into 13th. The Bugatti has fastest too. And for good measure, I get a lot of understeer onto the marbles and into the wall. And we also have a penalty to serve. I just had to take a quick breather there. Well, at the very least, we don't have to worry about anyone attacking us because car number 14 is parked there. I guess he's had enough. I completely understand. This has been one hell of a race, and not in a good sense. On to the final lap, we served the penalty, a big one for the collision we caused, and we carry on. And on the final straight, we go across the line in 13th position. This is by far our worst result up to now. And in part, of course, we do had some issues with that English fellow there who tried to send us into oblivion any chance he got, but there were also a lot of mistakes on my part, just a lot of incompetence. We can't just leave it there, so we dive back into it. I pick another car, the G70 seems to be doing well for other people, and we managed to qualify in 7th position. Let's see how we do this time around. A different car, a better qualifying time, a little bit more confidence knowing what I'm doing. Let's see if we can do better. I try to give the orange Alpha a bit of space, and I hurt myself doing it. Get sent into a wall, get punted, and understeer into the other wall to wall. Not great at all. Not great at all. Not off to a good start. We let our Spanish friend go through here, and we're now into 9th position as we head into the tunnel. We do our best to set ourselves up for a good slipstream, but things are not going our way out of the 3rd sector. And I can see a blue car behind me flashing his lights, indicating that he's probably going to want to pass. We're going to give him the space. We've had enough silly games up to now. And he manages to get by. Do our best to keep the car under control. And we survive another turn, but we're in 10th now. Into the last turn, and just look at this. Car's going 3 wide through there. Good stuff to keep it all under control. We can do our best to stick as close as we can. So we're now in lap 2, coming up to the left-handed where we got past last time. We're going to try and see if we can get some moves done. See an opening on the outside, so I try and take it, but it's kind of closed off by the Mercedes. If you see a car ghosting out there. Didn't have the greatest turn. We're now into 9th. Nothing to do here but stick close to the guys in front, and another car goes out. Didn't have a great turn either. We're in 8th now. A really slow right-hander coming up right now, and as I set myself up to take it, I get bumped on the right side. I lose 2 more positions, and then a bit further along the road at the hairpin we can see someone get sent to oblivion, along with the guy who sent him there. Not that great, but we're back in 8th position. Lap 3 now, and we're going into the left-hander, and it's pretty crowded out here. I try to get some things done on the outside. There isn't much room here. Try it on the right side, and again, there isn't much room there. We just have to carry on. Find some things down the road. Into lap 4 then, and we can see a guy maybe thinking about a move into the tunnel. He wisens up. We all go through it together. The Alpha comes out a bit slow, but I understeer into the wall, messing up any chances we got, and we can see our orange chaser maybe going for a remove. We're going to try and cover up the inside. Got it covered for this turn, but not for the second one. And we lose a position into 9th, but the guy has got a penalty. If we just stick it close enough, we might be able to capitalize on that. Penalty line's coming up. Serves his penalty. And we're up into 8th. Into the slow right-hander again. Get a little messy with the Alpha in front. Our chaser again finds a way through. And we're back into 9th again. Things aren't going so well for us at this point, but we're still in the fight. And we might still be able to get some things done somewhere along the line. Now, we're going to see a crazy move here. As he tries to go on the inside, he collects the Alpha, spins him out, he hits me, and another car comes through. The Frenchman in the NSX manages to capitalize on that madness out in front. Right here in the last turn, I think I spot a gap. I try to go for it, but he cuts back, and we're still stuck in 9th. Good move on his part. Into the tunnel. This is such a dangerous part of the track. We're just going to try and stick on his tail as we see him understeer into the wall like we've done before. And it opens a gap for us on the inside. We're going to try and get the move done, turn into the corner, and we manage to get away with it. Into 8th position. And further along the road, we get a good slipstream on our French friend. We might be able to get something done into the last turn. We set ourselves up for a move on the inside. He manages to cover it off pretty well, and we won't be doing anything at this moment. Nothing to do but try and stick on his tail, see if things open up further down the road. Now he manages to pass our English friend right here, and we get a good slipstream on him too. He's got himself a penalty, so at some point, if we just stick close enough, we can manage to pass him by, but we do see a gap opening up here, much better than last time around. We stick it on the inside, keep our line, and we managed to go through. Very, very nice. Now it takes us a while, but on the 10th and final lap, we managed to catch up to our French friend. He's in battle with a Spaniard, and this means there might still be some positions left to gain in this race. And into the final hairpin, I spot a gap right here. I go on the inside, and I of course leave the space on the outside. Gave it a quick glance, and he's still there. Got some speed over us, so nothing else for us to do but stick in a slipstream, and we'll try to do something, anything, in the last turn. You get a good run. We might spot a gap opening here, and as we go through it, it gets into a bit of a tangle with the Frenchman. That gives us some speed, but he's right there, and of course, he's hanging into the slipstream of the Frenchman, and there really isn't much we can do. We see him sail past us, and we end up in 7th position this time around. So, there's improvement. We made it to 7th position, a lot better than last time, but I'm still making a lot of mistakes. I'm still getting myself into trouble I probably shouldn't get myself into. So I head back into qualifying. I try to learn the track a little bit better, and it pays off. This time around, we'll be starting in 3rd position. So then, on to race 3. Let's go. I'm gonna try to follow the guys in front without doing anything too silly. I'm gonna check the mirrors just to make sure that nothing is creeping up on us where we don't want them to. Into the tunnel we go. get some good lines, nothing too silly. And we managed to go through it without crashing out. Very nice. I don't think I spot a gap here, so I just try to follow the guys as good as I can. The guy thought about it behind us, but he relents, and we're good for now. Further along in the lap, I think I see some things happening out in front, so I just try to go for a good exit. Fast as I can, get as much speed as I can. And now we're getting into a weird position. I don't think I should stay behind him, because it's just gonna make me lose out on the lead. And this guy thinks it's probably not good. Don't do that, don't do that. But I'm gonna do it. Into the turn we go. And it really was a bad idea. We get into all kinds of trouble, and there's a massive crash here. Both of us completely crash out on the bridge. A complete shambles. Half the grid passes us. Get back up to speed, but we're now in position 10. Coming from third, and that's absolutely miserable. We pass our victim, going into these slow bends here. Heading into the tunnel, you see a guy with a penalty slapped on him. So all we have to do is follow close, wait for that penalty line coming up. He moves out of the way, pretty nice of him. And we're up to 9. A bit further on at the hairpin, I think I spot a gap. He's pretty early on the brakes. Didn't quite expect that. Quite a messy move, but we go around. And a bit further on at the final corner, he's thinking the same thing. Well, if you pull that on me, I'm gonna pull that on you. And he tries to go for that inside. Manages to get alongside, but not far enough to make anything stick. And we're still in 7th position. He still has a decent run fall, and he might try something in the tunnel as we head into lap 3. I think I see him on the inside, so we're gonna go wide here, give him the room. And once again, it gets a little messy. A little messy here. Once again, we completely mess it up in this part. I still haven't learned a thing. That tunnel is simply a danger zone. So now we're in 13th position. Quite a mess. We got a guy in front with a penalty. Once again, into the tunnel. And we're going to try and see if we can catch up once more. Now the gap to number 12 is quite large, but the second penalty is a lot to take. And we swing by. We catch up to the guys in front, and as we go into the right-hander, we see them get a little wild there, and a gap opens up. We pounce on that immediately, and we're up into 11th. We make it stick, and as we go through the turns, we get quite a good run on our Hungarian friend right there. We're gonna try and make another move on the inside, go through it, both of us quite nicely, and leave a gap on the outside. Always leave the space. I'll take a glance. And he's right there, still with us. And now it's another rundown towards the final corner. We're gonna do our best to keep that inside line. And maybe, just maybe, we can hold on to that 10th position. Into the braking zone then. We go through the turn together, and he leaves quite a nice space for us to ride in. Didn't manage to make it stick, so a bit further on. We spot a few more shenanigans, and it gives us a little space to dive into. And we make it stick into 10th. On lap number 5, we meet up with the police car and this Lamborghini. Try to go around the outside, but we can't really do it. Gonna give ourselves a good line through here. Get a good exit. And we manage to get a little run on the car in front. And this time we're gonna try and take it through that right-hander. There's a tiny gap. We push the car through. Checking the side just to make sure we're clear. I still can't see him. Doubly making sure as we go through the next turns. I do hear some noise in the back. That can't be too good, but we're fine. Into 9th. As we go into the final corner, this guy's fighting hard here. And that means we'll also be able to profit from that. However, we can't really get into the slipstream as there is a car to our side there. And we're not going to push him off track, of course. We're going to give him the space that he needs to settle in into the tunnel. And I really don't want to go side by side here. That's going to be a mess again. So I let him by, both of them. And he guessed it. It's going to be quite messy once more. Good taps on the back, but we all survived this time around. Back into the slow section. And they go through it a little slowly. It gives me an opportunity to dive in there into 8th. And of course the Ferrari has a penalty coming up. So all you have to do is stick close and wait for that penalty line to come over to us. There it is. And that gives us 7th. Lap 8 now. And things get a little quirky again. We managed to go off the road and into the wall. And I have to fight so hard to keep this thing on track. What a mess. Still haven't learned that much. But we're still going. This is lap 9. 2 more laps to go. And I've got car number 6 in front. Got a good run on him. Once more, we're going to try and do our best to make something happen into that final corner. We've practiced it by now. Maybe we can make it happen. We get a good run into the braking zone. And we go around. He tries to go back on the inside, but he can't cut back. And that gives us 6th position. Now I notice blue flags being waved, and I'm thinking, well, is the leader this quick? It can't be right, but no. The Supra we met earlier is having a really bad day, and he just completely parks it on the right hand side. And we finish the race on lap 10 in 6th position. Well then, so I'm thinking it's gone a little better this time. We managed to qualify in a better position, but things still went quite off in the race, mostly on my end. We have to go in here one more time. And this time our qualifying time puts us in 1st position. That gives us some good chances. So once more we head into it. Can we finally manage to get a good result? Into the tunnel, check the mirrors, and there isn't anyone attacking me too hard right now. So we're just going to do our best. Go through the bends, over the bridge, without crashing. That's very nice. Well done on my end. And into the heavy braking zone, and our opponent manages to squeeze by. Very well done. Bit of an aggressive move, but really well done from my fellow Dutchman. But he messes it up in the tunnel, oversteers into the wall, loses so much speed. And now it's us versus the white car. He tries to set up a move. I'm moving the car far enough left that we can defend, but not that far that we're going to sacrifice the corner for it. We get through it nicely, but our opponent is close on our heels and he bumps into the back of us. Gives us a bunch of understeer, but we keep it on the road and he can't really capitalize on that. We're still in 1st position as we cross the finish line, finally having managed a proper, clean lap. That's very nice. Now he might still get a good run on us as we go through the tunnel and over the bridge. We're going to watch out for the heavy braking zone, but at this point in time, can't really hurt us from that far back. Into the left-hander and into the right-hander with a good line, good speed, and we're still okay. Now I do make things a little interesting on lap 4 as I understeer just a little too late on the brakes. Have to sacrifice the next corner too, and our friend in the white car manages to catch up. But we're still good. We got away with that. Still in 1st place, and still on the road to maybe having a good finish this time around. So why not have a look at one good lap? Lap 6, a little catharsis for us. So we go through the tunnel and over the bridge without steering into any walls. Slight bend, quite easy to get either a bunch of understeer or oversteer there. So you have to take it a bit careful. Take a bit of curb on both of these chicanes and then into the tunnel. Slight tap on the brakes. And power through as you go on this long bridge. We'll see the familiar penalty line here as we come up to a left into a right. Gonna brake at about 100 meters, shift it back into 3, and get on the power as we go uphill. We wait a long time before tapping the brakes again. Don't shift it back, and get on the power as quickly as you can. And here is that slow right-hander. You have to take it really slowly, maybe cut a little bit off the track there, that's fine. And on the power here, into 3, let it run wide. Set yourself up for this third. Quick tap on the brakes here. As we go up the hill again, approaching the hairpin, which is pretty awkward on the reverse layout of this track. You have to be patient here. Just wait, and then hit the throttle. Get yourself a good exit because this part is just flat out all the way through the bends here. You get a beautiful view of the hills coming up. Or mountain, I should say. It's all mountains to me, I'm Dutch. And coming up to the braking zone at about 100 meters. Switch it back into 2. Maybe cut a little bit of the wide line. Go wide into 3. And towards the right, down the hill. We have completed a proper, clean lap. We can still drive a car. That's so nice. Very good. And a couple of laps later, lap 10, we head into the final corner. Everything's still fine. Check our mirrors, but the white car isn't there. We actually managed to do it. Drive a clean race. I'm quite happy with that, as you can see. Over the finish line in first. Well, that was quite a journey. From 0 to hero, I think. But we still have a lot to learn. I think it's pretty clear by now that I'm okay driving a car alone on track with no one in front of me that I have to chase, with no one at the back of me which I have to defend. However, in the heat of battle, I get myself into all kinds of shenanigans, which means I have to work on my racecraft if I want to get any better. So a lot to take in, a lot to reflect on, but I had a lot of fun, especially at the end, of course. As ever, I'm really happy to have you here. Thanks for checking my video out all the way to the end. We'll see you next time. Take care. Goodbye.